Well, I did something else this week, sir. And do I have a tale for you?
We love these moments.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, this is what normally I would refer to as a quick take. I watched a movie. It's not a full-on review like we do our main segments, but it's like kind of like a mini review, if you will. This is going to be an extended quick take because there's a lot to go over. And I might, depending on how I feel about it in a few more days, I might have to bookmark the end of Horror Fest. Like after we're done with everything and we get back to our to just normal format, we might have to do an actual show on this.
All right.
Now, I watched roughly a newer movie. I think it was from 2020. And let's see here. It was David Pryor was the director. A little movie called The Empty Man. Holy shit, sir. Holy shit. Um Now I know I told you I was about to watch this and I gave you a brief setup of my pre-viewing thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and I gave you my immediate thoughts like as the credits were going, I was typing. After sitting on it, doing a little bit more research, I still don't feel good about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm actually more confused than angry. Now, before I even get into what this movie is, all right, I did a little bit of research. I'm not, I can't say for sure that this is all 100%, but skimming the surface of information, I came across a few tidbits of information that might be interesting. All right. Have you ever heard of this man, sir, Mr. David Pryor, the director of this movie?
I thought I did, but then I remembered that the David Pryor I'm thinking of unfortunately passed away,
Mm,
which was the director of Deadliest Prey, Deadly Prey.
ah, okay. Now, this David Pryor, his claim to fame before he decided to direct feature-length films was he was the guy that was in charge of like making of bonus feature content for DVDs. Like he was the guy that put all that shit together and directed all that. And uh, apparently, he palled around a lot with what's his name, Fincher, a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of his stuff. I think he did the Fight Club DVD. Like he did a lot of stuff. So hung around a lot of directors. You pick up some shit. And it's not like he's straight out the gate. He put all that other great shit together. Like I said, there's a lot of bonus features that are better than the fucking movies that they're for.
Yes.
So it is a respectable art. I don't ever fucking knock that shit. Somebody comes up to me and says I do behind the scenes, bonus feature shit. I want to sit and talk to you.
Tell me what Blu-rays you did. I need to know.
um, but so the setup is now this was 20th Century Fox pre-merger. Okay, so that's the
Okay.
time frame we're in. First time director of a like actual movie, not behind the scenes shit. This is his first time doing this, and he wrote it. It's loosely based off of a graphic novel, apparently, but there might be some similar elements and themes, but in terms, it's a night and day. They're totally different. So loosely based, like just like maybe that's the best you can do. Maybe it came from
Okay.
that. But he writes this crazy fucking this movie. And apparently I guess he had enough pull like and good graces with some people over there, or he's just a hell of a pitch guy. But he pitched his ass off maybe. But he got people to be like, yeah, yeah, I like this crazy fucked up idea. So they gave him a ton of money, like way more money for than what a standard first time director making a crazy ununderstandable horror movie, and they just give him all the money he needs and then some. It's unheard of. So he goes out and pretty much finishes this thing. It's over 2 hours. This movie's like 2 hours 15 minutes.
Damn.
All right, makes this fucking movie. Merger happens. So all those people that were like, yeah, are gone. Merger happens. Disney people and all those whoever the higher ups show up, and they're like, what the fuck is this? But as you know, they part of the merger, they like anything that was like beyond a certain point of being done had to be released. It was part of the contracts, part of the deal. So they're just like, all right, what do we do with this really weird fucking movie that doesn't make any sense? So then they decide, well, you know what? Let's cut it down to 90 minutes. So they have somebody trim this bad boy down to 90 minutes, and they test it. And it does way worse than the 2 hour and 15 version. And they're like, you know what? We'll put out your long ass weird fucking movie for like a week in theaters. And then we don't want to have anything else to do with you. Get the fuck out. As it stands right now, this is a 2020 movie. There are no physical copies of this movie. It is a streaming only movie. There is no physical distribution of any kind.
Damn. I'm kind of at a loss because it seems like anything gets a physical release, because if you do, like, not to call out any particular distributor, but if you do like a Warner Brothers Archives or a Lionsgate Classic where the menu is just your audio options, or like the Tremors 2 Blu-ray where there is no menu and it just stops after you get done watching it, they will release that because they can turn a profit fast on it just because they already have the digital cut. And this didn't even get that.
And you know what makes even less sense? What did I say this dude was already famous for? Making behind the scenes shit. Like this is your guy. Like you don't even have to hire another person. If you want to try to get some money back off of it, there you go. You know, at the very least, have the dude who made the fucked up movie explain the fucked up movie.
I would like that. That's like we talked about last week with the Guy Ritchie's Revolver. Like he had to have an entire documentary about what the movie's about because the documentary at the end of the movie during the credits wasn't enough to tell you what happened.
So
damn.
That's the setup. All right, I didn't find this out until after I watched the movie. All right, now let me tell you how my day went watching this. All right, I had no intentions of watching this movie. It wasn't even on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting on the toilet. You can fill in all the other details you want, but I'm sitting on the toilet looking for some reading material. I usually see what's trending on the Google articles and shit like that. And it says, don't miss watching this underappreciated horror treasure. And I was just like, what? What? So I go to check it out. And I'm like, oh, I remember hearing about this. because I saw a trailer or something of like something small a while back, I guess when it came out, and it looked stupid as hell. Because it looked like a combination of like Slender Man and The Ring in all the wrong ways. All right. It had a and honestly, when you watch this movie, you will think of at least no less than 30 other different fucking movies while you watch this. That's how fucking crazy it is.
So like in that case of the combination, it was like the greatest hits of the worst out of those.
Yeah, it's just like basically you see the premise from another movie start to happen and you use that to guide what like to try to predict the next couple upcoming minutes, and you're usually right because you're thinking of the correct movie, but they do figure out a way to do the same thing but in a slightly different manner to where you're like, what? And then they're on to the next movie.
Go on.
So uh I watched that and I'm like, I remember seeing the trailer for this and it looked like a piece of shit. But I saw an image of this cool fucking skeleton thing that's a part of the movie. It's this weird, creepy fucking skeleton, and it's got like 8 arms coming out of its back, and it's sitting there like this, and each hand's got 10 fingers, so it looks even creepier. Like it looked really fucking cool. So I looked up the full trailer. All right, and I watched the full trailer. And it seemed like there might be something more to it. There was more shit in it than just the fucking Candyman, Slenderman, Ring knockoff shit. Like I'm like, okay, there's elements of a cult, there's a detective, there's all I'm like, maybe there's something more to this. So I clear my schedule. It was our off night, which was yesterday, Tuesday, I think. Or
Monday.
Monday was our off day. So get the kids to bed. Wife, I'm like, we're gonna watch this fucking movie. And I watched it. And I was very angry. Now, this movie is shot beautifully. Like, that's the thing that's crazy. There are some great shots. There are some amazing transitions. Everything looks fucking great. The problem lies with the telling of the story. Because there's some shit that you feel like you're like, okay, perfect. The best example is that we've got our main character. And apparently he's friends with this girl that lives next door. But you spend probably 30 minutes of watching them interact, and you don't know why they're interacting. You're like, is this his daughter? How does he know? Like the most common things. You're like, why is this character interacting with this character? What is their relation? And you just have absolutely, it doesn't tell you the most basic things like that. You just kind of gradually get there over time.
Sounds very Italian of them.
Yeah. And then it did something else that I'm not a big fan of. Most notably, I felt they did the same thing in the 2009 Friday the 13th that I don't like, where there's like a fucking 20-minute fucking prologue before you even see the title card. They do that.
Oh,
And honestly, there's a good part of me that feels like you could cut that whole thing out and the movie would be fine. There's only two reasons for the prologue. It sets up the pattern and rules of the supernatural entity, which doesn't matter because you're constantly sitting here trying to figure out, like, it doesn't follow its own rules anyway. Or at least it takes giant liberties with its rules.
fair. Okay.
And then there's only one small connecting factor between the prologue events and the main story. But honestly, you don't even really need that. But it does. I'm gonna say kind of a spoiler, but not really. Like I'm not gonna say what really happens, but I'm just gonna give you like it's what kind of a level it's at. At one point, you start watching it and you're like, they're gonna pull a Sixth Sense at the end of this. Like you see it coming, and they do that, but it's not what like when I say it's not. It's that level of like what the fuck, but it's not that exact thing.
I was hoping Bruce Willis was going to show up at the end. That's the greatest twist.
I mean, yeah. My wife kept looking at me every 5 minutes. She constantly had to ask like, "Am I dumb and having a stroke, or do you not understand this either?" But there were elements of the story that I was grasping. Like it was like looking at a puzzle where like you only have like the outer square all done. See, it's like you kind of know what's supposed to go in the middle, but you can't see it yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I started doing some research, and I'm just like, I'm literally at a moment where I'm like, okay, either this movie is completely full of shit and just stupid, or I'm dumb and this movie's smarter than me. Like it's seriously one of those things. And every time I research more and more into it, I think that I might just be dumb. And honestly, go right now. Anybody type in to YouTube The Empty Man Explained. Find anybody's video on it that tries to explain it. They don't explain it. They tell you what they saw on the screen, but they're like, there's nobody that's like, this is what this means. This is what because nobody knows what the fuck happened.
I had an old professor that said, sometimes an apple is just an apple. Not everything in film has to mean something else.
Mm-hmm.
Did they take it to the extreme one way or the other? Is that what it seems like?
Well, one thing is, apparently one of the main everything's written and presented in such a nihilistic point of view. That's the thing, where it's like, and if I'm understanding certain things, right? So it's like, the whole, if you constantly like have like positive thoughts, that maybe you can will some positiveness into the world. This is kind of the flip flop where you're constantly thinking negative and putting negative into the world. But, which sounds bad, but it's taking that and presenting it in a positive way. I know.
I got nothing.
Yeah. This movie is such an enigma to me. Like anybody who's watching, please, your homework, find a way to watch The Empty Man and try to explain it to me. But it's like, it has the premise, like that stupid Slender Man ring bullshit premise, like it's there. Like that is a part of it. Don't get me wrong. That stupidness is a part of it. But there's something done in a way where it doesn't bother you. Like it's not like the standard where you're just like, hey, you want to watch The Grudge? And you're just like, ugh. Like it's that, but done in a way where like there's a constant reference in the movie where like once you gain certain knowledge it makes your brain itch. That's a reoccurring dialogue in the movie. This movie makes your fucking brain itch.
I'm gonna have to watch it, I
Yeah,
guess. I
and it's like all it's crazy. Yeah, that was, I was mentioning that. So like it is loosely based on it, but if you were to read the comic and watch the movie, it's two totally different things. It just borrows some very basic elements and maybe one or two imagery type things, but it's two totally different stories. But yeah, he did say he's like, yeah, like we were saying, we're like, what's it based off? I don't know that. That's how much it's connected. But it's weird, like and the stupid bullshit about it where like it sounds like they went to like a fifth grader and they're like, okay, what are the kid what are the kid what's the kid's boogeyman nowadays? And they're like, okay, well, you his name's the Empty Man, and you have to find a bottle, right? An empty bottle or something hollow, and blow on it, make that noise. And while you're doing it, you have to be thinking about him. And then the first day, you hear him. The second day, he sees you, or like you see him. And then the third day, he comes for you. So this is 2002 horror gold.
It's a little late in the timeline, but fair.
um, and it does all of that. It does all of that, and um, but like I said, what was funny is like this is like technically this is a first time director doing shit like this. Surprisingly, like I said, the film looks amazing because they gave him the money. So
Yeah.
he visually made a great movie. And what the thing that was hilarious about it is that all of the negative things that you would think that a first time horror movie director in this situation would do, like the terrible kind of like cliche shots that they would make,
Yeah.
he does one of them. And it's so weird to see one of those kinds of shots done with an insane budget.
Like in a good way or a bad way? Like,
It's weird. I don't know. But what it is it's this one girl, uh it's on her third day. This one high school girl, it's her third day. So the Empty Man's gonna come for her. And she's at some like spa or resort or some shit. So she goes in, and it's the only nudity of the movie, but of course she derobes to go into the sauna. And think of those early 2000 fucking grudge kind of fucking horror movies, and just think about it. It's the girl in the sauna, so they make it real foggy, real cheap fog effect, and they're gonna do the cheap jump. It's that. It's that.
I can see it as clear as day as I did back in 03.
Now imagine that somebody who thinks that's a good idea, and they're like, here's the budget of a Marvel movie. Do that scene.
The
Now,
Avengers theme starts playing in their head. I've got it.
no, obviously they didn't give him that much money. But let me see here. What was it? I got it pulled up. Let me see if it says what the budget was. Details. Oh, here we go. I don't know if it's gonna say. I don't think it's gonna say. Company credits. Oh, I don't think it says how much money they had to make it. It says how much the movie made, which was, yeah. But regardless, this is a very, very odd movie that like I hated it at first. It intrigues me now. I still don't know if it's a piece of shit or if I'm just too dumb to get it. But
I,
it's posed to be a piece of shit because it's like everything that I saw that didn't make sense where I'm like, is this poor storytelling or is this done in an intentional reason that I am not able to detect due to stupidity? Like we're at Kubrick levels of intelligence here.
so what you're saying is you're gonna have a long weekend, a few dabs, and watch this enough times after horror stuff's over that we might be able to unlock the secret of the Empty Man.
I don't know, but like I said, I'm reserving a moment at the end of Horror Fest here. And we might have to do a deeper dive on this because I honestly think that if I had said nothing to you and you just stumbled upon this upon yourself and just kind of threw it on and like half-assedly watched it while you were doing something else, you would just like, oh, that was a piece of shit. I'm probably never gonna watch that again. Go on about your business. But I'm here to tell you that it's made to be a piece of shit. So expect that, but also be on the lookout for maybe this might be by design. Like I said, there might be something here. And it like I said, anything I've said that's puzzling, it oh my god.
It it feels like how we felt with Wicked World in Shot on Video Month. Is how you're describing it to me, where none of this makes sense.
The closest thing that I can get to, and again, I still reserve the right to say that this may be a piece of shit at the end of the day.
Sure.
But as I'm sitting right now, this potentially, because I remember when we did, I don't think it was our very first marathon, but it was at least the first one that we did when I was here. Um, when everybody was excited for me to watch The Descent for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Because that movie was poised and set up to look like a standard piece of shit, but there was really a lot more to it. This might be that one of those situations. But on a higher intellectual kind of way. I don't know. Like I said, it's a really weird fucking movie.
I'm on one of our off nights this month. I'm going to watch the movie.
Let me
And
know because I will watch it. I will watch this movie several times until I'm convinced it's either good or a piece of shit.
I hope on that second watch it doesn't take a hard left turn and you're like, nope, it actually is a piece of shit.
Well, no, because the thing that's annoying about it is that there are glaring contradictions. Like there are one things where it's like, okay, if that's the situation, why was this able to happen? Like that should not have been able to happen if this is, you know what I mean?
I
But
know exactly what you mean.
so it's like it has that, but at the same time, there's enough. It built up enough credit with itself on in other moments to where you're just like, maybe there's a reason for it that I'm just not recognizing yet, and it does make sense. You know what I mean?
All right. All right. We'll get the academic books ready for this one.
But it is a long, patient burn of a movie. Like I said, I think it's like a 22 plus minute prologue, which honestly was entertaining. Like I was just like I was watching it and like I was like I thought this was the movie. I'm like I didn't see any of this in the fucking trailer, but this is interesting. And then when I realized it was just that long prologue, I got really fucking pissed off. But there's things that make sense. There are things that connect. There's a bunch of symbolism that makes sense. It's just everything that's done is done potentially in a higher sophisticated way than what one would expect from a movie like this. You know what I mean? It's just it's a bonkers fucking movie.
I don't know if I want my brain into this much of a pretzel, but the way you're selling it for me.
I know, right? Like I said, as soon as the credits hit, I'm not lying. I sent Gabe a message and I'm like, this is the biggest piece of shit I ever fucking saw. I was angry. I was
Yeah.
so angry that I went to fucking, I'm like, I need an explanation. But then I started realizing that nobody had an explanation. And then like I started seeing people who were saying that this is underappreciated, but they had like back behind the scenes shit, and like they were able to like they're like, I think this is what it's about. And it based off that, like it's just everything's so left up to interpretation, to where it's like, is it too much that's left up to interpretation? Or you know what I mean?
I mean, two things. One, preliminary star rating, and two, is it possible that it finally happened? A movie was made to just be abstract, and what they're doing now is creating, I don't want to say hype, they're creating their cult following for it by saying, y'all need to analyze this and figure out the mystery of it. But there is no mystery. It's just whatever the hell they thought would be scary on screen, they filmed, like Phantasm, they filmed it, except Phantasm worked.
And that's the other thing, is the director, like, he didn't do any interviews. He didn't do any press. There's no like him like, well, this is what I was trying to go for. Like nothing. There's no explanation that can be found. It was just thrown into the world under these weird, miraculous, like these are the types of situations that we wish would happen to more people. Like, you know, like capable people. Not saying that this dude wasn't capable. We're still reserving judgment on that. But you know, like I said, where it's just like, take a chance on some weird shit. This is what we want. Oh, this is what we've always wanted to happen. And it happened. And I don't know if I should celebrate it or be angry and be like, this is why this is why this never happens. It's a weird one. My wife is so annoyed by me because I keep talking about it. She, like I said, she was constantly asking, she's like, am I having a stroke? Nobody should ask that about your movie. Am I having a stroke?
If it induced that, you know, that I guess that is a selling point in some markets, but you know.
But part of the, you know, and without going in too much or spoiling anything, a part of it is like fucking with one's perception on things.
Oh no.
So it's like, I mean, but that's not done in a bad or cheesy way, but it is an element of the story. Here's the other thing. This is the other part that's fucked up. 3 different times in the movie, a character will walk up and explain exactly what's going on in the movie. But it is so convoluted and so crazy that the words that they're using, like, this is like college level, you know, and you're sitting here at like a 3rd grade level, like, shit, I can't even spell that. You know what I mean? But it's like when you slow it down and you really think about what they're saying, you're like, with after that 22-minute like prologue, and it's like within the first 5 minutes of meeting the main character and he's talking to the neighbor girl, she tells him exactly what's going to happen. But it's so crazy and so weird that your mind can't accept what she's saying. And then it happens and you're just like, I knew this was going to happen. But it's so fucking weird.
This just sounds like the gift that keeps on giving, but also annoys the piss out of you.
Yeah. It's like I said, like this is the most. This movie is the biggest enigma I've ever seen, and like I said, I'm really hoping that this ends up being something, and it's not really just a piece of shit. And I'm just like, well, I mean, like either way, I'm still dumb. Because I'm like, I'm either dumb because I didn't understand it, or I'm dumb because I thought something was there. And I wasted all this time.
We're going to get to this one eventually. I know I keep saying it, but we're going to get there. Is it an enigma like Hellmaster is an enigma?
Possibly, but it makes your head hurt more. Like, what's crazy is like once you unlock maybe potentially one mystery, you're so excited. With Hellmaster, I don't think we unlocked anything, and I don't even know if there is anything to unlock there. That's just craziness. This,
The director's
however,
cut made that worse,
yeah.
by the way.
This, however, like I said, it's like you feel like you should have a tinfoil hat on when you discover something, and you're just you know what I mean. It's just like once you discover something, you're just like, oh my god, it was an inside job. So you feel guilty, but at the same time, you're like, I have to keep going. I'm telling you, Sparrow, I'm glad you're here. You specifically, I was thinking about you while watching this. I'm like, I need Sparrow enlightenment to understand this fucking movie.
All right, everybody's got homework.
Yeah.
Go watch the movie and start drumming up interpretations, rather.
Like I said, 90%, I imagine 90% of people will watch this movie, and at first glance, they'll just be like, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever fucking seen. But I'm like, just keep watching it. Bear with it. And really try to like follow, no matter how confusing or jarbled up the lingo is that they're spitting out in that so-called dialogue. There's something there, and I need to know what it is. Because this potentially could be the most brilliant fucking movie made. Or it is the biggest piece of shit that has ever existed.
I'm sending you early Christmas present, corkboard, yarn, and a lot of copy paper. I need you to go. I need you to go full.
There are several parts in the movie where Nietzsche is quoted. All right, so like there is yes, like it is deep. It's deep.
I love that you're going full Alex Jones with this. I really do.
It is an insane movie. I like I said, even if you watch it and you think it's a piece of shit, let me know, because like I said, I need to know.
I won't sugarcoat it.
We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah, The Empty Man. Like, it's visually great movie. Like I said, the skeleton thing that they use in there, amazing. Like visually, I want that in, like, I want a sculpture of that in my house. But of course, if it represents what it's supposed to represent, then I don't want to be anywhere fucking near it.
Yeah, do it anyway. Live on the edge.
Yeah. But that's what I did, and like I said, I know that was a little bit more of an extended, quick take. I didn't even really. I mean, I said a lot about the movie, but without saying a lot about the movie, because it is weird. It is weird. It is hard to follow. It does not hold your hand. Like, you just kind of have to watch it and put the pieces. All the pieces are there. It's just up to you to put it together. So
What
it
if
is
you suck at puzzles.
then you're gonna hate it. It is not a user friendly movie, but not everything's supposed to be. So, like I said, it could be great or it could be shit. But it is what's occupied my brain for the last few days, and it's crazy. It's crazy.